Next we have Callicarpa, also known as beautyberry, and Viburnum bodnantense, which doesn't have a common name. Sometimes people call it pink dawn, which is just a variety, but that might help you figure out what you have. This is a beautyberry, Callicarpa, and this is what it does. It's both these plants are what they call gardener's plants, which means new people pretty much don't get why you would put them in your yard, because they have an unfortunate habit, which is to say that they're very they aren't very graceful. They're very straight and skinny and awkward looking, sort of like teenagers. But what the Callicarpa or beautyberry does is in the winter it gets covered with these very shiny, almost metallic looking berries, which come in various shades of purple. I bet there's some white ones out there too. And this slide really doesn't do it justice, because everything else in the yard is losing its leaves. It's November. You're pretty depressed because it's getting dark and horrible, and suddenly there's this really bright, interesting thing to look at. And the birds like them too. Here are the berries. And again, this isn't really the color. The film doesn't really, it's called the ageratum effect. The film doesn't really pick up the certain colors of blue, bluey, purpley. But you can see that it's loaded. And this is Viburnum bodnantense. And it's not a very remarkable flower, but the thing is, it's also coming on in November when everything else is getting to be through. Both these plants will last pretty much clear through the winter with their berries or their flowers. And another nice thing about the Viburnum bodnantense, not only does it look like spring, it smells heavenly, and we need any sort of cheering up we can get. But they are not an attractively built plant. I think of them as sort of the giraffes of the plant world. They look a little awkward. A giraffe just looks like it has too much neck, but that's just the nature of the beast. And as with most pruning, you want to accommodate the natural habit of the plant and not try to change it with pruning. If you prune either of these plants to try and make them kind of rounder and tidier, you will just get more straight growth. So this is a beautyberry, and if you look at it closely, you will see some branches shooting out the top that are just like going 3 miles away from the rest of the plant. There are 2 of them, and they're sticking way, way out. And every fiber in your body says, let's just cut those back and make it a nice, tidy, round ball, just like a rhododendron. But if you do that, you get more straight, fast-growing, ugly shoots. So my best advice is don't do that. So here's that plant again, or a plant a lot like it. And what you are going to prune are the ones lower down that are going the wrong way, or have a kink, or run back through the center, or touch the ground. And thinning out the bottom will actually reduce the tension between the straight, skinny shoots that are flying out the top and the nice round shoots that comprise the lower part or the inner part of the shrub, and maybe it won't drive you so nuts. In time, the new branches will put on more side branches and arch out and begin to resemble the rest of the shrub. If you keep pruning your shrub, you will keep getting the straight shoots. Think of them as the teenagers of the plant world, all skinny and gawky, elbows and knees, but if you leave them alone long enough, they fill out and become more attractive. But you have to sit on your hands. The really only good-looking Viburnum bodnantense or Callicarpa that I see are really, really old ones that nobody's been messing around with. And you might ask, when's the best time to do this pruning? And the best time to do this pruning is when they are in berry or in bloom, so you can bring some of them inside and put in a vase. I should mention that some people prune them like a cane grower, which is to say they take complete branches down to the ground level and let new ones shoot up. And then they get sort of a taller, straighter, skinnier plant. Well, a straight, skinny plant. It may be somewhat smaller than if you just let it grow to be its ultimate size.